do this. How about this? Here's an example. I think this one should work out fine. So I have negative 4x plus 5y equals 2. I have 3x minus 4y equals negative 2. And so we'll just try to solve this one like the other two examples, and we'll just see what happens. This one should work out with exactly one solution. Let's see how that goes. So again, we could do this with substitution if you wanted to, but I think this is probably an easier one to do elimination for. So let's try and cancel out a variable. Maybe we'll cancel out the x again. We could do the y, it doesn't matter, but let's do the x. Let's get these to cancel out. So let's get these numbers to match, but be opposite. I have negative 4 and I have 3. So maybe the common multiple I could shoot for is 12. Yeah, I could just multiply this equation by 3, and I can multiply the second equation by 4. That would give me negative 12 and positive 12, so they cancel out. So let's do that. Let's do the first equation by 3 and the second equation by 4. Okay? So just multiply everything in the first one by 3. We get negative 12x plus 15y equals 6. And then we'll multiply everything in the second equation by 4, so I get 12x minus 16y equals negative 8. These are my new equations. And then we're going to add these two together. And now, by the way we did it, I have negative 12 and positive 12, which will cancel out. I have positive 15y minus 16y. That's going to leave me with negative 1y. And then I have 6 plus negative 8, that's negative 2. Okay, so I have negative y equals negative 2, which tells me that y equals 2. So when there's exactly one solution, you're going to get to a point after doing this where you'll just have one variable left. You'll have one variable, and you'll be able to solve it out and find out what that variable needs to be equal to. You'll be able to find the value for that variable. In this case, y has to have the value 2. Otherwise, we can't solve it. So y has to have the value 2. Now that we know y is 2, I'm just going to plug it back into one of the equations and solve for x, because now I need to find out what x is to get the full solution. So let's plug this in. So we had a negative 4. Let me draw a line here to kind of separate this. We have negative 4x plus 5y equals 2. This is one of my original equations that we started with. I'm just going to take this one. It doesn't matter which one. Just take one of those original equations. And now let's plug in y equals 2. So I have negative 4x. 5 times 2, if I plug in 2 for y, that's 10. I get negative 4x plus 10 equals 2. And now I just got to solve this for x. So subtract 10 from both sides with negative 8. Negative 4x equals negative 8. And let's divide by negative 4. We'll get x equals, looks like 2. So it looks like x and y are both 2. So maybe I can write x comma y equals 2. And this is my solution here. So 2 comma 2 is my solution. So this is sort of the difference here when you get exactly one solution. When I do this step, I still have a variable here. I didn't cancel both variables. In the other cases where there's no solution or infinitely many, after this step, there are no more variables. I filled them all. That's sort of the difference between the two situations. So actually, thanks for asking that question. That was a good idea to highlight that right now. So thank you. And any more questions? Okay. And so I'll just point out, again, if you're doing one of these problems and you get to this point and you think you're done, but you're not sure if you did it right, you can take this and plug it back into the original system and check, see if it makes sense. And so we can check if plugging in 2 and 2 makes sense. If I plug in 2 and 2, in this first equation, I get negative 8 plus 10 equals 2. That's true. And for the other one, I get 6 minus 8 equals negative 2. That's also true. So this is the correct solution. That's just a good habit to be in, is checking your own work. Make sure you get it correct. Okay. Cool. So if there's no more questions, then I think we'll jump into the next activity. Be a good idea to practice some more of this stuff. So on this next activity, 5.2b, there will be examples where there are no solutions or there's infinitely many solutions. There are a couple of sort of trickier problems on here that maybe tomorrow in class we can talk a little bit about, or maybe later today. So let me go ahead and get this set up for us.